Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Finally, after what? Over 2 months, recording na rin ulit kami for the WMC Book Club. It has been a very busy start of 2023 for all of us. And kung mapapansin ninyo, wala si Bunso sa discussion na to, no? Kaloy Felipe is busy right now with school. Nasa AIM po siya, kaya dun muna siya nakafocus. But what's great is we have an all-female powerhouse again today, and we hope everybody who's listening in will be able to pick up some lessons or at least be entertained with our discussion today. So we'll be talking about a very simple, but I would say not so easy to read and to digest na literature, no? And for us to, before we start, no, we'll have Amy to share with us more about the book and also about the author. Take it away.
So, hello everyone. It's been happy 2023. So, very late yung start ng ating book club discussion. But yes, we are so busy and we are here now. And this book is a recommendation by Kaloy. So, Kaloy's presence is still felt even though he's not here, no?
Palagi.
So this book is published in 2019, late 2019 by the author Charlie Mackesy, no? So sabi dito, so this is considered as a children's book because of the illustration. No, so sabi dito, no, a boy, a mole, a fox, and a horse share a series of heartfelt, profound conversations about meaning of life, universal truths, and friendship. So, di ba, yun yung sinabi ng author and sabi niya, all four characters represent different parts of the same person. Mm-hmm. So, it can be a book about friendship, diba? A book about companionship, but it can be also a your internalization of yourself, no? Sabi niya dito, all four characters represent different parts of the same person. The inquisitive boy, the mole who's enthusiastic but a bit greedy, the fox who's been hurt, so is withdrawn from life, slow to trust, but wants to be part of things, and the horse who's the wisest bit, the deepest part of you, your soul. Mm-hmm. Diba? When I was reading this, sabi ko, parang yes nga, this book will resonate in different perspective of life, diba? So, yun siya. So, sabi dito, this is a book but it ginawa nilang mini-series. So, what Kaloy gave us is a link to watch. So, sabi dito, no, kasi parang ang background is for mental health. Yun yung binibigay ni Apple for the children to connect with. So sabi niya, the general connection is what the book is about, is how we really process. So ito gusto ko yung process, no? Every time that we do a book discussion, we process, no? So Kaloy is not here to process us, so we process ourselves.
Yes.
So parang gano'n, no? And it's really how we process and how we share life and how we go about communicating. It is about existence. It's about being human. It's about connection, hope, fear, and frailty. So sabi dito, si Mackesy is a self-taught painter. So yung work niya, it began years back. Parang nagpo-post lang siya sa Instagram, sa social media niya actually, nung mga illustrations niya. Tapos eventually nag-uusap na yung mga characters, and then it becomes a book. So, yan. So, sobrang ganda niya. So, Achi, let's start na how do we go about this book, no?
Yes. Thank you very much, Amy. Actually, yung sinabi sa commentary na nabasa mo is so true, no? I think in every season of our lives, no, makikita natin a representation of each of the character, no? So let's start the ball rolling. So my first question is, no, to jump into the discussion, no, a recurring theme in the book is how the characters reframe negative thoughts and feelings. And for instance, the fox confesses that, to be honest, I often feel I have nothing interesting to say. In response, the horse says, being honest is always interesting. Now, especially sa panahon ngayon, no, with the use of social media, everything about our lives, no, na pwede na natin ilagay sa social media, whether it's real or not real, 'di ba? So, ang nakakatakot diyan is how somebody like me, for example, na mahilig mag-scroll, mahilig magbasa, mahilig tumingin, mahilig manood ng videos ng iba, no? How will that affect me? So, let's do this challenge, no? Let's try to find some negative assumptions or beliefs, no? Na whether we tell ourselves, no, or we tell other people, or naririnig natin from other people, and especially those who are closest to us, no, like our spouse, our children, no. And ang challenge dito is let's try to reword these negativities, no, para maganda. Alam mo, I'll start with that, no? Para iba yung dating, 'di ba? Kasi marami naman negativity out in this world, but it's really how we look at it, our perception of the negativity. My example, and I'm reminded of this, my son, kasi nag-iisang boy sa 4 na magkakapatid, tapos single mom ako, so really there is no solid male role model at home for him to look up to, no? So oftentimes, feeling niya, nabubuli siya ng mga ate tsaka nung bunso niyang kapatid, no? So there was once when he was younger, sabi niya sa akin, Mom, I really don't like my sisters, you know? And my response to that was, I know it's okay that you don't like your sisters. You know, sometimes I don't like you too, di ba, when you're acting up. But I know for a fact that you love your sisters, and that's all that matters. No? So umiikot siya sa the parang the foundation behind the book is love, di ba? So kayo, what do you have in your lives, whether it's galing sa inyo or galing sa mahal sa buhay ninyo, na sa tingin ninyo yung negativity na to pwede niyong i-rephrase? Let's start with Joyce.
Thank you, Miss Janet. Ako po for me, ngayon kasi true, yung social media, di ba, puro good things, puro positive things, na especially me as a woman, may cycle of hormones, diba? There are some days talaga na parang sobrang emo. There's like a point na parang ang saya-saya pa lang, there's a pressure to me na ba't ganun? Parang sila ang saya, or parang antas ako nandito sa bahay, or ano. I was touched actually dun sa sinabi ng Fox na parang normally pagka wala ka nga namang comment or wala kang mako-contribute, if I feel na walang mako-contribute, parang okay, sige, side na lang ako, dito na lang ako. Like how I joined you kanina, I told you pa na I'll observe na lang muna, I'll check what they're doing, kung ano yung norm nila. But then, dun sa sinabing, you can be honest, parang vulnerability is like something powerful, or maybe not just anything for them to say, but of course for me to express what's the real thing. Kasi maybe expressing it alone can make me feel good or can make me feel happy. So yun po for me, parang honesty talaga. It doesn't mean na you are weak at some point, especially if you don't feel like good or happy on a certain days. But honesty sometimes is like strength. Parang just expressing it, releasing it, parang ano na yun na yung parang breather for me.
Ayan, that's wonderful, Joyce, no? Tsaka so true yung sinabi mo na vulnerability doesn't mean weakness, eh, 'di ba? It is an expression of your real self. So thank you very much, Joyce. How about you, TJ? What are your thoughts on this?
Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, it's first and foremost, it's so nice that we're a bigger group now. Hello to our viewers. Well, we're back at it. In my case, when you post that question, actually, I was like thinking there's probably like a lot of negative assumptions. So I was trying to think like what would be the best like to share. But the most common probably that I get, the comment that I get is you guys have been working with me for a full year now. And you guys know that I really can keep myself in my own small bubble, especially when I'm trying to focus on something. Alam mo yan, parang people perceive it that, wala kang pakialam. It's not that. It's just that really, well, to put it into context, if I really want to mind my own business, so to speak, right, in respect of other people and their circumstances or whatever it is that they're trying to do, I just really keep to my own, keep to my own world, really just be in that bubble. But then apparently when I do that, people think that, I don't really care, I don't want to connect, I don't want to interact and whatnot. And much to what you just said earlier, actually, like in social media, whatever we see on social media, it's inanimate. It's not going to move. But then how we perceive or take that information, how we interpret it, that's really is on us. And similarly, if I behave that way, people can really come up with like 10,000 different interpretations. I shared this on my page the other day. I was already in a conversation with a close colleague of mine. No, I was asking about the process, and not I don't really, notwithstanding anything. And then out of the blue, he said, "We're okay naman, no?" So that really caught me off guard because from my end, there really wasn't, I really did not have any issues, not at all. And then, but then when he said that, in my head, I was like thinking, what was it that I did or did not do that made him feel that way? So it was apparently my silence. And that silence really,
Misinterpret.
yes, and that silence really doesn't hold any other meaning other than that's the classic TJ of minding my own business. I'm just in my own bubble, trying to really focus on what I'm trying to do. I work very closely with actually Janet and Amy, and they know that that's very typical of TJ. But then now that I think about it, and then during that conversation, he made mention that he has been overthinking for a few days already. He felt like he did something wrong, etc., etc., that the relationship is failing. And it also got me thinking, my gosh, that silence of mine, me keeping to my own, really did not mean anything. But then I made somebody feel uncomfortable. Imagine niyo yun, parang ilang days na kayang dala yun.
Yeah.
Ilang days na kayang dala yun. What if meron pala siyang ibang pinagdadaanan? And I thought about it that, it's not actually distance that separates people. It's actually silence. Kasi it has room for like 10,000 different interpretations. So, to the question that what are these negative assumptions, I do take offense when people say that, wala kang pake, ang tahimik mo, you keep to your own world, when really it has no other meaning. But then apparently, because silence can be misinterpreted in like 10,000 different ways, you also have to watch or be mindful when you're going to be silent and you're going to interact. So there has to really like a balance, but it's a balancing act between those two. So in my case, that's a negative assumption, or that I'm trying to look into a more positive way. It makes me uncomfortable though, trying to change that way, because it means, even when you guys know that, no? Na minsan gusto lang talaga natin tahimik lang tayo.
Yeah,
Alam mo yun,
oo.
gusto lang talaga natin ganon. Kaya lang now that it can affect people very differently. So now I'm thinking, okay, paano yun? Paano ko ibabalance yun na yung side ko, for mine, gusto ko lang talaga tahimik lang ako. I don't really wanna interact. But then yung me not interacting can, can make somebody uncomfortable. What if ang dami na nga nating iniisip, dagdag pa yun. So yun lang yung dilemma ko in that regard. Now, when you ask that question, how do we change that and put love into that, changing our ways and whatnot.
Tsaka paano yun, no? I mean, ladies, please hop in if you have thoughts on this as well, no? How are you going to tell every friend or every individual na naging kaibigan mo na, oh, minsan tahimik ako ha, huwag kang ma-offend pagka, inactive ako, or if I did not reach out. How are you going to tell that to everybody, diba? So,
pa-hop in ako dito.
sige, tapos ikaw na rin mag-share.
Okay. So ako naman, for me, kasi those silent moments, kasi for me, that's a response. Ako ha. Kasi we take it in a different perspective. For me, silence is a response. So if I'm silent, something is wrong. So that's me. That's for me. So I think we cannot really tell everyone that we are like this. So it's up to those people to come to us. Is there a problem? Diba? Silence is can be interpreted in so many different ways, but also communicating will will clear the air out. Yun naman yun sa akin kasi I understand kasi sometimes 'di ba yun nga, we hold back so many things for ourselves to make other people comfortable. But it's not really about them. So yeah, Tisha, you asked to tell them if we're okay. If you think that we have a problem, you can ask me. And I can tell you outright, diba? So for me, jumping into what Achi is saying. So yung feeling of ito naman yung sa akin, no, yung feeling of being invisible, parang feeling small simply because you don't want to shine. Yun yung sa akin, yung feeling ko yun parang I don't want to shine so much to parang to blind you with my glitters and golds. So minsan I was thinking, ano bang gusto kong mangyari sa buhay ko? Be invisible so that people will not masyado silang mapupuwing sa aking glow, or shine as I want to shine, and 'di ba, do what I want to do. So nandun ako sa dilemma ng horse, no, nung sinabi niya sa akin na I have a wing. 'Di ba? I can
I have
fly,
wings,
but
yeah.
I stop flying because it makes other horses jealous. So,
Jealous.
'di ba? So minsan in sa atin, 'di ba? When you do something good, it makes other people small. But yun nga we cannot, that's their feelings. We can, 'di ba? In for agreements, their their opinion is of theirs. It's not for us. So sa akin, sabi ko, so dito naman sa pag-change ng aking perspective, I'll just do what I can. 'Di ba? If I want to shine, I will shine. If I want to be in the shadows, I will do that based on my comfort, 'di ba? On my di ba? On what I feel right now. Kasi sometimes minsan yung ginagawa natin is how to make people be comfortable around us. But when you think of yourself, what matters to you, 'di ba? You're also protecting yourself, 'di ba? Self-love. I don't care how you see me. sometimes we care about our image as a whole, but sometimes I don't care about what you think of me. It's me representing myself to you. So yeah, so yun actually, 'di ba? yun yung take ko in your question.
Yes, ang ganda nun, Amy. I think as long as alam natin in our deepest conscience na wala tayong natatapakan na ibang tao, kasi we're surrounded by so many people every day in our lives. We interact with so many people, not only our family members. Paano ba naman natin, kung bibigyan lagi natin ng pansin or aalalahanin lagi natin what other people would think about our actions, about the image that we put out there as an individual, ubos ng oras natin. Right, Arlene? Let's hear from you naman.
Yes, I agree with you all. Parang kanina pa ako nag-iisip na ano pa yung something negative that can be turned into positive. Kasi I'm the type of person, and I know people would always say I will always find silver lining in every situation. Ang take ko lang doon ay there's always a reason why. Yun na lang yung take ko doon. So, from Joyce na yung being honest, yung sabi pala me and Miss Janet, yung being honest, it is being courageous. Being silent is also being courageous. Being, anong tawag dito, yung kay Amy na love yourself. Bahala sila kung anong sabihin nila, basta I am happy. And I know who I am. Okay na yun. So, that is being courageous. So, for me, yung anything that comes in my way, minsan, yung overthinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
diba?
so
Yun yung naisip
critical.
ko. Oo, ano ako ay overthinker din ako one time. Kagaya nga ng sabi ni TJ na kanina, earlier na, yung silence, anong tawag dyan, she didn't think, bahala, she's just minding your own business. I hope I can sometimes do that. And sa may pakialam ako. And sometimes I need a pause. My God, I need those. And in every time I do our job, our part of our job, tapos nag-i-overthink ako pag nagsabi sila na, bakit hindi ko siya nakausap ng maayos? Tapos later on, sabi ko, Eileen, that's enough. You've done your part. Baka hindi lang for you today. So we really have to have those courage and then stop overthinking. Kasi it will hurt, kaya na naman ako, it will parang, in this world of so many fake news, in this world of so many people struggling, in this world of so many people who are trying to have their own niche in the niche, diba? We need courage and we need to stop overthinking and we need to love ourselves. Because if you love ourselves, you can love more people around you. And you cannot give what you don't have. So that's what my take for today. Siguro yun. Stop overthinking because there's always be a reason why people say no, people say yes. And sometimes you have to stop and make that silence a positive one. Siguro nga as people, yun, there are so many, I agree with TJ, there are so many ways that silence can be interpreted. However, sa dami ng social media, kagaya social media, we need that silence. And if people are silent with you, just accept that maybe they don't want to be bothered. Yun, para hindi ka na mag-overthink.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, so yun lang yun. Stop overthinking and that overthinking should be made into a positive thing na instead of overthinking anong nagawa ko, more of siguro, what should I do better next time? Yun lang. Yun.
Tsaka I think that, silence, can always be just a pause.
Yeah.
Diba? Hindi naman siya, you just stopped everything. Hindi ka magiging, no man is an island, diba? No man can survive as an island. So we still need to interact with people, but sometimes we just need that pause, no? Now, on that note, of self-love, I read somewhere about radical acceptance, no? And this was written by Karen Hall, no? Sabi niya, radical acceptance means completely and totally accepting something from the depths of your soul with all your heart and with all your mind. You stop fighting reality. When you stop fighting, you suffer less. You accept what is, learn, and go forward. Now, here's a story neto. The concept of radical acceptance is demonstrated when the characters learn to accept themselves and others despite their flaws. What do you think you need to work on, if any, on radically accepting about your own life? Ayan. So let's just turn on our audio, no? Let's unmute ourselves, no? And let's just jump into this topic as a group. Ano sa tingin ninyo?
Ako na lang mag-start.
Si Amy, parang kinikilig parang may kwento.
Oo, natatawa kasi ako kasi parang pang Miss Universe yung mga
Ang mga
questions natin for
questions.
today.
Kakaway tayo mamaya.
Sabi ko, ano ba itong mga questions na to?
And we're trying to, parang we're trying to, how would I say, embrace, bigger words, no, radical acceptance.
Yes.
We know we come across the word acceptance day in, day out, but then to add like an adjective to it, like radical acceptance. So parang when Ashley was talking about it, ang laki ng requirement nun sa atin, no? But very, I think yun kasi yung pinakamahirap, no? In all of this, yung acceptance na yun, tayo individually, there's 5 of us here. If we look at, for sure, no, let's go back to silence. So yung silence na yun, the 5 of us can have different interpretations kahit na, there's a dictionary definition of the word silence. What I'm trying to say is that meron na kasi tayong mga beliefs, kumbaga, no, tayo as individuals, now when we're in that situation or crossroad, that yung solution doon is radical acceptance. It's these beliefs of ours that's challenging it. No, na hindi ganyan, ganito dapat. That's when overthinking comes into play also. Dapat ganito, etc., etc. That's when it really gets a little crazy, so to speak. So to answer your question, paano nga ba to, no, itong radical acceptance na to? Well, the number one problem really is ourselves. No, we have to overcome ourselves. But in the book, no, in the book or in that series, no, every time, no, na meron pumapasok na panibagong character and then somebody affirms it, that okay lang yun, ganito kasi yun, etc., etc., etc. No, we become more accepting. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that when you have, the people in your network or in your circle that can affirm you, that's when radical acceptance, starts to happen. Kasi pagka nga tayo lang, it's not, we're going to be battling with ourselves, 365 days of the year. But then when other people are there, that you trust their opinion, that who looks out for you, di ba mas madali, no? Mas madaling tanggapin, kung ano tong hirap na yung tanggapin. I guess yun yung kailangan nating, I think that helps, what I'm trying to say. When you really have those people who can affirm or validate you, yung pala yung word na iniisip ko, no? Radical acceptance, validate. When there are people who can validate you, that you're okay, you're fine, it's not like that, radical acceptance becomes a lot easier, for us and for everyone around us.
I think it's also important, no, na in the age of modern technology, we have to go back to having those small circle of very, very close friends na tulad ng sabi mo, TJ, we can trust, we believe in. Pag sinabi nilang, Janet, parang medyo off ka ngayon, naniniwala ka at pakikinggan mo. Pero pag sinabi nilang, you're doing wonderful, you're doing great, maniniwala ka rin. Isang example nung radical acceptance, no? Alam mo, I think ang favorite character ko dito sa 4 na to is the mole. And if you remember, there was this part where they just met the horse and they started traveling, all four of them, no. Well, it was just the three of them, no. The boy stood on the back of the horse and lifted the mole up so that the mole can see further and more. No? Kasi maliit siya eh, di ba? Di ba? Tapos sabi ni mole, look at that. I am so small. And the boy responded, yes. So, validating na yes, maliit ka, but also saying that, but you make a huge difference. So it doesn't really matter where we are in our lives, kung ano ba ang position natin, ano ba ang role natin, ano ba ang ginagawa natin. Know that we, whatever we do, whatever we're doing, we affect people. And, you know, we have to be self-conscious na how we affect people should be positive. No? So, ang ganda nun eh. Anything else about radical acceptance that you would want to share?
Ako.
Ay,
Mhm.
sige. Si
Yung
Arlene
radical acceptance. Thank you for that word. Radical acceptance. Pinagdaanan ko na pala yan. Anyway, yeah, dun sa book, parang when it comes dun sa radical acceptance, parang we have to accept that there are people who come to our lives that have an impact in such a way.
Yeah.
Kung paano tayong on our character.
Mm.
So for me, yung radical acceptance is you have to accept what is your role, what is your husband's role, what is your friend's role, what is your parents' role in your life. Kasi if you're able to accept all of this, mas peaceful ka.
Yeah.
And then the other one is coming from a person who has a very strong character, tapos nagkasakit, I had the radical acceptance talaga on myself that I cannot do some things anymore.
Mm.
So that is one kind of radical acceptance. And there are people that God has sent me to do those things, other things for me, which I cannot do anymore. So that is one kind of radical acceptance. Yun lang. At naiyak na naman ako. Ayok.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Arlene. No.
Sorry, but thank you for that word. At least alam ko na I passed through those stages already, the
Yeah,
radical.
and there is such a thing, di ba?
Yes.
There's such a thing.
Sila
Sige
pala
nga.
ako nag-iisa, di ba?
Ano, Arlene, ano ka na, official WMC book club member ka na kasi napapaiyak ka na namin. Dati kasi kami tatlo lang yung naiyak. So ngayon, ikaw iyak na.
Yes.
Congratulations. Napasa mo na.
Initiation pala yun.
Oh.
Actually, initiation talaga yun.
Bigla
I mean,
tuloy
you
akong
were-
napasearch actually nitong radical acceptance na to. Hindi ko alam, baka to Arlene's point now, parang ako in that stage in my life right now, parang yun yung kailangan ko. I have to.
Yeah, yeah.
Parang in order for me to move forward, kailangan matutunan ko tong radical acceptance na to.
Alam nyo, I think sa group natin, ako ang pinaka-senior eh, no?
Uy, grabe.
Ay, hindi, totoo yan. Wala pa sa inyo ang line of 50, no?
By number lang
Oo naman.
We don't want you naman to feel so old and so,
I'm
far away from us.
Definitely not feeling old. Ang hashtag ko nga sa social media rocking my 50s.
Rocking my 50s.
Oo. Actually, there are up until now na I am able to, take care of 4 young kids na ngayon independent and on their own na, no? Na feeling ko, wow, how was I able to do that, no? Pero a lot of times, bumabalik ako doon sa shell ko na parang may kulang. Parang I haven't done enough. Parang there's still something missing na hindi ko, parang kulang yung nagawa ko for these 4 very young individuals, no, na sana pagka ginawa ko to, di sana mas magiging maganda ang buhay nila, or a lot of that. In my career, sometimes I also see those black spots no? Doon sa clean sheet of paper, yung black spots yung nakikita ko, yung pagkukulang. And, you know, even before we started this discussion, meron akong ganong feeling eh. Parang may kulang sa mga nagawa ko sa buhay. Then I would sit down and go back to what I have done so far. Ina-itemize ko siya. Tapos titingnan ko sarili ko where I am today. And I embrace that. And I think I believe that's a good example of radical acceptance, no? Amy, you were cut off kanina eh. So
Yeah.
what were you gonna share?
Medyo na-touch ako. Yeah, na-remember ko yung part na yon na tinaas. And then you matter, you're important. And yun nga eh. I think coming from TJ's perspective, no, we have to have those kind of small groups that will validate. Kasi I think our love language, ako for myself, my love language is affirmation. Diba? Words na,
Same here.
yeah, you're doing good. Diba? You're okay. Amy, you're okay. So, I believe that this book, it talks to myself. I am journaling kasi. When I feeling something, I write. And when I write, diba, may clarity kasi when I write eh. I write because that's how I'm feeling. And towards the end, nung sinasabi ko, ina-affirm ko yung sarili ko, diba? Sometimes you are the horse. There is a horse in you that is telling you are a boy, you are di ba, tinatanong mo what's happening around you. And then towards the end, you are the horse that will say that yeah, it's okay. But sometimes you cannot be the horse to yourself. And yeah, you have to look at other people. So this I want to say that this core group, this book club, I found another group that will say that, Amy, you're doing good. Diba? Kasi, I have high regards to Achi and TJ. I'm sharing personal stuff to them. And then, and sabi nga ni Achi, no, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing great things in my life. Diba, nung bata pa ako, hanggang nung lumaki ako, feeling ko, my life is so good. Masyadong simple yung buhay for me. Masyadong simple ang buhay for me. And then when I have this family, these different people under my wing, feeling ko I could have done more. I could have done good things. Siguro, kung babalik ba ako sa corporate, mas successful ba ako? Mas mayaman ba ako? But you have to accept that. Sabi ni Achi, you have a plate, Amy. And your plate right now, ito yung kailangan mong gawin. And yun yung ina-accept ko day in, day out. No matter how dreamy, di ba? Parang feeling mo, mas marami ka pang pwedeng gawin. But yeah, I have this plate that I need to do and I need to take care of. So yun, ayan, umiiyak na. Talaga diba? Ito talagang book club na to. This is what this does to you. So yeah, that's every day I have to accept that this is what I have on my plate, and my plate is what matters to me right now. So yeah, radical acceptance.
Yeah.
That's beautiful,
Grabe.
Amy. Ayan na, Joyce.
Yeah.
Oo. So,
Okay. Ayoko na umiyak na kung initiation pa. While hearing you, Miss Janet and Amy, I anchored more on dun sa radical. Kasi yung acceptance, parang ang dali niya kasing intindihin, ang daling sabihin. Like, what I hear you, Miss Janet, sabi mo, hanggat wala kang tinatapakan, parang go by yourself lang, have that pause you need kung kailangan mo, you think kailangan. Pero yung acceptance, yung radical rather, parang ito yung another confirmation and validation for me na stop resisting. Parang ang daling sabihin na, okay, accept mo na, may mga challenges talaga. May mga, yan yung makakapag-make you feel stronger when you surpass that, and you were able to get your breakthrough, mga ganyan. Pero hindi siya madaling intindihin on someone else's perspective unless nandun ka with the own understanding na, okay, sige, it's part of the process. Kailangan ma-meet ko tong taong na to. Kailangan, I need to experience this. But then, kahit na I'm being pressured too much, parang the more na mas magkikling ako dun sa radical na, okay, i-accept ko, this is what I needed. Kasi this makes me parang tough. And pag nalagpasan ko yun, it's another, I'm not saying na, parang it's a breakthrough, parang expanding my parang comfort zone. Parang ngayon, ang sinasabi, you have to break through comfort zone, you have to get out of your comfort zone, but rather, kailangan siyang i-expand, especially after the pandemic na parang nakulong lang sa bahay, parang minsan I am pa rin on that point na, lalabas ba ako? Ang daming tao doon. Like dito, pupunta ba ako doon? Si Miss Janet lang naman ang kakilala ko. Hindi ko naman kilala yung iba. But I block off that thought na, ano naman, is there something na baka mas may matutunan ako on that day na I can bring or carry from today moving forward that would help me a lot. Pero nandun talaga yung radical na, okay, more on, I'll be doing this kasi I love myself. I wanted to grow. And yun, it's accepting na I needed it. I needed to grow. It's more on for myself pa rin. Resistance is parang I needed to break through. Then yun papasok yung radical acceptance.
Good for you, Joyce. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of the three other ladies na we are so glad you decided to join us again. Ayan. Now, there was a conversation. Yes, TJ.
Sorry to cut you off, actually. Is it,
No, it's okay.
based on hearing from everybody, is it fair to say na ang kasama dapat or kasabay ng radical acceptance is radical na pagmamahal? Is that like tama ba yun? No, parang dapat ganun no? Kailangan. So balik ulit tayo, no? Doon sa lesson ng book na to, the core of it is really love, no? Is it fair to say na dapat, kailangan ba ganun? Kung radical, ano ba yung Tagalog ng acceptance? Radical na pagtanggap? Dapat ba kasabay din nun or radical na pagmamahal? Parang tuloy biglang naisip ko, parang bakit biglang parang naging mahirap na ba siya? Or mas dadali ba siya kung kinombine mo yung dalawa na yun?
I think, no.
Dadali siya.
Sige.
I'll
Sige,
answer
Joyce.
TJ, parang ano siya, for me, somehow lubricant dun sa acceptance, yung pagmamahal, na parang, if you really love radically, parang regardless kung ano yung susuungin mo to be able to accept maybe that person, that situation, the life, dun anchor yung love na, okay, parang so cliche yung, magtitiis ako kasi ganito. Pero for me, we can choose a battle. But then nandun na talaga yung accept na, okay, regardless kung anong pagdadaanin ko dito, kailangan ko siya. It's really a part.
Tsaka I think pagdating dun sa pagmamahal, we always have to remind ourselves also na we have to love ourselves first. Kasi sino ba yung nagsabi kanina, paano natin mamahalin ng iba ng lubos-lubos kung hindi muna natin mamahalin ang sarili natin? How are we able to give what we do not have ourselves, di ba? Yun. Ay, grabe.
Now,
yes,
go ahead, Arlene.
Sa akin kasi, if you love what you do, if you love yourself and you love what you do, radical acceptance is there. Kasi parang ready ka to do anything for it. Yun lang.
Yeah.
Iniisip ko, no? Parang kailangan muna mahal mo. That's the foundation. So to your question kanina, no, actually, paano ba natin, how can we employ radical acceptance? There should really be radical love in there.
Yeah.
No, does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, moving forward, no, there was this conversation that all four characters had that started with the boy asking this question: "What's the bravest thing you've ever said?" Ayan. Sabi ni Horse, "Help." And to expound on it, the fox said, "Asking for help isn't giving up, it's refusing to give up." And then the mole said, "Sometimes I want to say I love you all, but I find it difficult. So I say something like, I'm glad we're all here." Ngayon, ibabato ko sa inyo yung the same question. What's the bravest thing you've ever said? Ayan. Who wants to start? Ayan, si Arlene.
Si Arlene na lang.
Siya yung
oo.
bravest. Amongst the bravest.
Ang dami kasi parang ang dami sa akin lagi nagsasabi, parang pagod na sila and everything. I always tell them, and that's what I've been telling myself, you can only do so much. You can only do so much. Pray. And after that, you pray. And then do what you have to do. That's it. Wag ka na makinig sa iba kasi if you will think of everyone, what everyone will say, you are being hard on yourself. Kasi we have now roles to play in this world. So kung hindi ko to kaya, somebody will take that and do that thing for you. So you can only do so much kasi if you try to do many things, you will spread yourself so thinly and you will be very hard on yourself. That's one thing that I've learned. You can only do so much. Yan lang.
Ayan.
But it's also loving yourself.
Sige nga, sino pa?
Ako na nga. Siguro, I know I shared this with Achi and Amy, but since you guys are talking about, being brave and whatnot, and, I'm moving towards radical acceptance, I think, oh my gosh, teka muna, hinga muna ako ng malalim. Ba't wala ka bigla, Amy? Ba't wala ka bigla, Amy? Kailangan ko ng moral support.
Sorry kasi. Grabe, bakit ang emotional
Anyway.
itong discussion na to for me?
Anyway, I'm not gonna go into details of it, but really this is the bravest thing I said. No, I said this to somebody. I think you're not being fair. I think you're playing favorites.
Parang alam
And
ko
to
yan.
muster the, diba? To muster the courage.
courage.
Diba parang to muster the courage to say that.
You're
Although I thought like then, when I thought about, of course, sabi nga sa akin ni Achi, lahat ng sasabihin, lahat ng gagawin, lahat ng ipopost, there is a consequence to that. And before I got to that point of mustering the courage to speak up and say it, I thought about it like 10 million times, no? Ang taas na nung anxiety ko. Alam mo yun, parang nakakailang rosary na ako every night. Just so, ibig sabihin, ano ba yun? Dala-dala ko siya. If tama ba? Dala-dala ko siya and parang nakatali ako doon. So, yun kasi yung bumabagabag sa akin and yun talaga kasi yung, how would I say it? Parang nahirapan tuloy akong binumang kwento, Amy at saka si Achi. I think for one, it was not an easy thing to do from my end. Much like the horse, which is my favorite character in the story, I've lived my life like that. No, parang sabi nga ni Amy kanina, parang ayaw niyang mag-shine because she doesn't want people to be blinded, by her glow, by her shine. But then, me naman, I want to shine, pero every time I shine, parang people are always telling me na, hindi ikaw. Hindi dapat ikaw. So parang me, and that really held me back for most of my life. And then when finally I am doing just that, shining, glowing, brightening, doing things that really unleashing my potential. Yung feeling ko naman is that I'm being denied of opportunities because of preferential treatment and favoritism and situations not being fair. And that's when, so parang inisip ko na naman nga, no, magiging horse na naman ba ako na magpapaubaya na naman and whatnot and yada yada when I've really put in absolute work no, talagang, of course, nakita to ni Achi tsaka ni Amy, no, na the work that I really put in, absolute work talaga. Alam mo, hindi mo siya matatawaran. And finally, at that point na, teka muna, parang, sandali, parang here I am na, doing all this and whatnot. Deny ko na naman ba yung sarili ko of this opportunity. So, I thought about it like 10 million times. I prayed about it, more than the number of times that I regularly do. And then finally, when the timing and the circumstance presented itself to me, that's when really I mustered the courage to just say it. Because maybe one, I'm wrong. Number two, maybe I'm right. Yun lang naman yun eh. Diba, no?
Yeah.
To know if I'm wrong with my assumptions or to know if I'm right with my assumptions. And then based off of that, alam mo yung wala nang yung in between. And knowing if I'm right or
There's
if I
no
am
gray
wrong.
area. There's no gray area.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then I can behave or move, accordingly. No, na hindi ba yung dala-dala mo pa siya, na hindi free yung buong araw mo kasi dala-dala mo pa siya eh. So, that was really, that was the intention. Being brave, to say something like that. It's not intended to pick a fight. It's not intended to rock the boat, but it really is to set me free from what's holding me back.
I
But
think
like what we said,
rocking the boat is the result. It's not the intention, but that's the result. And it's something that you don't have control over na.
and yun, so dun papasok yung si radical acceptance. Now, I have the answer to that question of mine. So now I'm at that point of, itong radical acceptance na to, and then to that radical love na to. So now it's just so funny actually, Amy, sorry, that it all now comes full circle. I don't know. Best talaga tong WMC club na to. Best talaga tong core group na to.
Actually, si Achi, ang gagaling ng mga questions.
Oo,
Para
Miss
processing.
Universe nga.
Para
Very good,
processing.
very good, actually, Parang, alam mo yun, I think we talked about this like a few months ago, no, and yung na now finally, although this is on me. It took me a while to really come to terms with a lot of these things, but now finally, siguro nga it's either God or it's either life teaching me na you have to go through all of that. No, para ma-appreciate mo siya.
Yeah.
So, and then now that we're here, so yun na ngayon, no? Thank you, Achi, dyan sa radical acceptance, and thank you everybody with that bravery and Amy pointing out the horse, no? And so now parang mas maliwanag na sa akin, no, how I should operate, the rest of my 2023. There are actually, sorry, bago ko ibigay ulit sa inyo, no? Parang monopolize ko na tong session natin.
No, go ahead.
There are actually two posts na ang tagal ko nang gustong i-post on my social media. Para yun sa akin, Meaning again, para sa, that's how you guys see what I do on social media. I post there for my own. Pero meron kasi akong dalawang post na ang tagal ko na siyang gustong i-post para ba sa akin. Basta para sa akin yun, na gusto ko nandoon siya sa timeline ko. Kasi akin yun personal account yun. It's not a page. Na hindi ko magawa-gawa. So finally, after this session, no, thanks to all of you guys, gagawin ko na. No, sabi nyo nga, no, regardless of the, it's a good thing, Amy. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's ano ba yun? Basta parang gusto ko ng palayain yung sarili ko doon, is what I'm trying to say. And hopefully our audience now, they get inspired by our, individual circumstances na we may not be able to provide you with details of what it is, but siguro hearing our voices, seeing our facial reactions, and, the tone of our voices, na talagang mga mabibigat kasi yun that we're trying to overcome. But here we are now because we have this core group ng ating chairman. Talagang, wala nga si Kaloy, ito naman si chairman. Talagang, chairman, But thank you. Thank you.
TJ, that's a very nice. I'll proceed lang, Miss Janeta, to TJ, because I guess ito yung perfect fit for her naman, yung sa akin with what I bravest thing or word I said. I am learning lately na ako muna. Parang
Mm.
I felt so tired na parang eldest, being the eldest, parang na-instill sa akin all along na parang, oh, kailangan makapag-aral kasi ganito, ganyan. Parang I'm forced to do things. I'm forced to be good. I'm forced to parang excel because for somebody else, not for me, not
It's
because I'm
expected
enjoying
of
it.
you.
Opo, ina-expect na parang andun ako din sa box na yun, na parang ang gagawin ko, lahat ng gagawin ko is para sa kanila, not for myself. And then, parang sobrang tagal. And the pandemic, thank you pandemic, because parang ngayon ko lang na-realize, or this 2023 made me realize na ako naman muna. So, when I heard you, TJ, saying silent, when Amy mentioned about, wala akong pake sa sasabihin nila, this is what I feel good. This is what makes me, parang this is what makes me happy. Parang, okay, tama naman pala yung sinabi ko na ako muna because
Mm.
kailangan before I can give, before I can do this to somebody, even to my children, to my husband. Parang ngayon, sobrang yung word na wait lang, ako muna, sandali, ako muna, sandali lang. Parang sobrang parang it's a relief for me. Na at the same time, parang ang tagal, parang hindi ko pala siya talaga sinasabi ever since. Na parang wait lang, ako muna, wait. I needed this. Maybe to recharge myself, to love myself. But ang sarap ng feeling na kahit matulog ako ng okay more than 4 hours kasi kailangan ko I feel so tired today, I needed the sleep, or ang stress ko today with the business, I need to go out myself lang kahit yung I run or yun mag-grocery. It's a I don't know if it's a rebellious thing, pero para sa akin it's a powerful thing pala to say na ako wait, me, ako muna.
Mm. Mm.
That's
It's
really
wonderful. And I don't think, well, rebellious maybe because hindi yun ang ine-expect sa'yo. 'Di ba? Pero it might come out as rebellious sa pananaw ng iba, pero because you know that you're doing something good for yourself, you're taking care of yourself muna, no, I don't think it's rebellious. Amy, nakasagot ka na ba? Hindi pa. Sige.
Okay. So yeah, yung help, I think that was following Joyce being I'm not really the eldest, no, but I stood up as the eldest. So in my family, parang I always step up. I'm always there. Sorry. So
Go lang, go lang.
yeah, kasi nakaka-relate ako kay Jo. I'm relating to everyone. And yung asking for help and accepting that you cannot be there for everyone. I think that was the bravest thing that happened. And sabi nga ni TJ, no, siguro kasi I needed that. Kasi parang I was always strong. Parang akong bahala sa inyo, gagawan ko yan ng paraan. Parang ganun kasi yung I was like that. And syempre, God will put you in a situation where you cannot be that. Because you needed other people
Yes.
to do that for you. Kasi hindi ka naman there. No man is an island. So, yung parang ang hirap kasi sa akin to ask for help because I was the one who is giving help to everyone. Ganun, I was in that situation before. And that made me proud. Parang, yeah, that made me proud and so high up because akong bahala sa inyo lahat. I can take care of you. And then God, alam mo yun, God put you in a low place, not because He doesn't love you, diba? But He put you in a place where you are hopeless, where you needed help from other people. Kasi you cannot, yeah, sabi nga ni Arlene, you cannot spread yourself too thinly because you cannot do everything all at once. So, yung help, asking for help, And yes, saying what you need to say in the right time. Kasi minsan, I always keep things to myself. And then yun nga, darating yung time mag-explode ka.
Mm.
Simply because napuno, yung parang iba, napuno na yung salop. So,
Hello.
you, maburst ka na lang because you keep things to yourself, feelings, as suppressed feelings, yung sama ng loob mo na inipon mo throughout the years. So, it will burst out if you will not be honest with yourself. So now, what I learned in the past, no, is to set boundaries for yourself. And yeah, hindi naman sa na walang pake, 'di ba? Bahala kayo dyan. And yeah, I agree with Joyce. Ako muna. So minsan nagagalit ako sa mga kids ko. I say, wait lang ma, wait lang. And now, I realize na yes, I need wait. I also need me. So now, because of the things that happened, I go out. I tell my husband that I will go out. Kasi 'di ba, when you are confined in your small space, masyadong comfortable, but people are seeing you in a different light because you're just confined. Parang hindi nila nakikita na you are more of that. So right now, I'm not saying na I am going to please them or satisfy them or satisfy their expectations of me, but I'm doing this because I want to. So now I'm going out, I'm meeting other people, 'di ba? I'm being uncomfortable when I want to. I want to be comfortable when I want to. So yes, ako muna. And yes, yung help talaga. And I'm so happy and dun ko lang nakita na yung mga tao na tinutulungan ko before, na dahil nga sobrang strong ako, they are the ones who's helping me now. And it made me feel really, relieved na hindi pala, I just needed to be in this kind of situation right now so that I can see how all the things that I've done in the past will come back to me. And, it made me feel so happy and na ate, my sister, my mom, my husband, he say, kami nang bahala sa'yo. Diba? Kaya minsan iniisip ko, I'm so comfortable before doing the things on my, diba? Ako kasi gumagawa sa sarili ko eh. But now, they're doing this for me. And parang asarap pala yung comfort. Diba? Ginagawa naman nila sa'yo yun. Yun, actually. Oh my God! Ano ba to?
parang yung post ko kanina about yung ulam namin kagabi, sabi ko mas masarap pala kapag ipinagluluto ka ng iba. You can do it yourselves and you've been doing it for the longest time. Pero iba pala kapag ikaw ang inaalagaan, di ba?
Napatingin tuloy ako. Ito nga ulam ko mamaya.
Di ba? Oo. Now, my answer naman, alam mo, kulang na kulang talagang isang oras sa atin, no? Sa lagay niya, napakaiksing literature lang yung pinag-uusapan natin. But to close this discussion, no, my answer to that, the bravest thing that I've ever said, no, is I forgive you. Ayan. Kasi hindi ako forgiving na tao eh. Lalong-lalo na kapag alam mo, mas mabilis nga mag-forgive kapag hindi ko mahal yung tao or yung pagkakaibigan namin or yung relationship namin is very shallow lang. I realized that about myself. But if it is somebody who is so dear to me, na minahal ko ng buong buo, tapos yung sinaktan ako ng sobra-sobra, ang hirap mag-forgive, no? And I think this was the first time that I've really said it, and it was to my ex-husband. You know, it took several years before ko nasabi yun, no? And well, he didn't really take it lightly, no? The story behind that, ang backstory niyan is the reason why we separated wasn't actually because of a third party. it was his decision or his being indecisive whether he will stay with us, me, and his 4 children, or he will leave us and go with the other woman, no? Ang pinili niya, ang sinagot niya sa akin nung time na yon is, uuwi muna ako sa tatay ko, pag-iisipan ko. And for me, a relationship na, 21 years na relationship, 4 beautiful children na ni isa, walang physically challenged, walang, lahat mababait, lahat, and in-laws who supported him so much, minahal siya ng higit pa sa sarili nilang anak kasi kung ano yung ibinibigay sa kapatid ko, binibigay rin sa kanya. Tapos, uuwi ka sa tatay mo, pag-iisipan mo, parang it's so, parang unforgivable for me at that time, no? And it was many years after, before I sat down with him, the children present at that time, and I said, pinagpraktisan ko to ha, hindi siya lumabas ng natural ha. Pinagpraktisan ko at pinagpray. The kids and I prayed about it. Pinagdasal din namin ng mga other groups of friends ko, no, na matapos itong masakit na experience, no, na yung maayos siya. And me saying, I forgive you, paved the way for me to ask for forgiveness as well. And I am not, I'm not boasting about the humility that was shown because I am far from being humble. Humble in the sense na, hindi talaga madali sa akin para magpatawad at humingi ng tawad. Lalong-lalo na pag alam ko, wala akong pagkakamali. So, what the best thing that came out of that experience was yung peace of mind ko. Wala na akong magagawa kung hindi niya tinanggap yon, or if he looked at it if he reacted to that conversation in a very different manner. Pero what is important is kung ano yung naramdaman ko at that time, no? Sabi ko nga I think I needed to hear it, that I should say I forgive you and I'm sorry more myself. I needed to hear it more than anybody else. Kasi kumalma ako I mean, marami pa ring instances ngayon pagka na-open up yung topic of the past. Medyo nandun pa rin yung spark na, kung hindi nangyari ito, kung hindi niya ginawa ito, di sana kompletong pamilya namin. But again, going back to what I said earlier, no, look where I am now. Look where my children are today. May hihingiin pa ba ako na mas higit pa sa kung ano ang sinishare naming mag-iina ngayon? Wala na. Sinabi ko na sa mga bata to, and I've prayed about this. Lord, if it is my time, I'm ready to go. Kasi ang hiningi ko lang kay Lord 16, 15 years ago, when this all started, was, Lord, wag mo akong kukunin hanggat hindi handa ang mga anak ko, hanggat walang nandiyan na magmamahal sa kanila ng tulad or higit pa sa pagmamahal na ibinibigay ko. And now that I'm seeing that they're okay na, I'm good. I'm okay. So, ang hirap, no? Ang hirap for somebody with who is so proud, no? To say that I forgive you and I'm sorry, no? Pero ang sarap ng feeling. Ayan.
Sorry, before
yes.
you close now, Achi, now
Sige.
that we've shared, things that, what was the bravest thing that we said?
Yeah.
Siguro siguro kung nung time na naging brave tayo to say it, people will probably think that we're too proud that we said it.
Or too
But
stupid.
then, or too, right?
Stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, to either
Kasi I've heard those comments from friends na, ano Janet? Na-forgive mo pa siya?
that's true, no? Parang, yan nga, no? There will be very many assessment when we become brave enough to speak up kung ano man yung dala natin, no? Na we're either ang yabang natin, we're too stupid, that's ridiculous and whatnot. Kaya lang kasi parang now that I heard all of you guys, us being brave to ask those things, it's really more for us liberating us from what's holding us for the longest time. Kasi parang alam mo yun, it's not that we don't care about how it will be perceived or how the recipient will take it, but really it's more for us eh. Yun kasi yung side that we can control. Being brave to ask that question regardless of the consequences. Parang sabi nga ni Amy, no, kailangan gawin. Kailangan gawin. And hearing everybody's experiences, and now it's just very encouraging na dapat talaga, no, brave tayo all the time. Na yung words na I forgive you, yung asking for help, those are not easy. No, even the question that I pose, those are not easy.
Yeah.
Now nobody in their right frame of mind would be, just say that because yun yung mahirap talaga eh. But then after we've done that, now we feel like we're free. And the rest is really up to them. And di ko lang, basta parang yun lang, no, just so you know, to our audiences, no, let's be brave. Sabi nga dun sa movie na what's this? I forgot the name of the movie, pero what we need now is just 20 seconds of insane courage. That's it.
Yeah.
No, actually, Janet, no, it took years for her to, finally say, rehearse pa nga daw niya yun, that I forgive you. Me too. It took me too long to really, my God, too long and too much prayers to convince myself that I have to say it. Same with Amy asking for help. Pero yung insane courage na yun, to actually say it, wala pa nga 20 seconds yun when we say it. And that bravery of ours led to our freedom, ultimately.
Yes,
And
very liberating.
Very timely kasi Women's Month na yun.
Yes. Itinadhana pala na ano tayo, women powerhouse for this discussion, di ba? So thank you very much. And we would like to invite all WMC graduates, whether you're a certified or an associate, a wealth planner or estate planner Philippines, please do sign up and join us in our next book or movie discussion. No, we are so looking forward to growing this group, and the vision is eventually this will mushroom into different individual group discussions na. Ayan. So thank you again very much, ladies. And Kaloy, we miss you. We miss ang pagiging analyze mo sa amin, no? And we hope to see more of you, WMC graduates, join us in the future discussions. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye po. Thank you, everyone.